And we are live. Welcome back to Takes by Fans. We got a great show for you today. As always, we are live every single day at noon Eastern. If you want to watch live, head over to twitch.tv/takesbyfans. If you want to watch but not live, head over to our YouTube channel, Takes by Fans. We post all of our shows and clips of the show there on a daily basis. And if you just want to listen, we are on podcasting apps, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio. So however you want to watch or listen, we've got you covered multiple ways. Alrighty, today is a big old Wednesday, and man, folks, Dame time. Did y'all forget about him? Man, oh man, the man was absolutely clutch last night, and it was just absolutely unbelievable watching this man ball out. So we're going to obviously break down the NBA from last night and go heavy on what Damian Lillard was doing, and unfortunately coming up a little short because his teammates is, kind of garbage overall, not clutch. We got Damian Lillard, the clutchest player in the NBA, and then everybody else on that team, just the unclutchest bunch of supporting role players I have ever seen on the floor at one time. So it's just truly unfortunate by Damian Lillard, but we'll watch it and we'll respect the hell out of it. So we're breaking down the NBA from last night, doing our moneymaker for tonight's action. We got 4 games on today. They put 4 games on one weekday. 4 games are for the weekends, but 2 more NBA TV games. The smaller market games, the 1 seeds are all going to be on NBA TV, but that's classic. So we'll talk about those games, do our moneymaker for those games, and yeah, I don't think we're going to get to the NFC South draft grades today, so we're not even going to say that. If we get there, we get there. We do have a lot to talk about today on the show, so I do not think we're going to get there, but if we do, it'll be a nice little treat at the end of the show. So let's just jump right into it with the stories of the day. And the first one up, man, oh man, some film is coming out from the OTAs and the NFL, and some real good ones here. So first one is from the Rams, and we got a nice Cooper Kupp grab here. Nice little pass. Cooper Kupp, corner of the end zone. Nice one-handed grab. Looks to have 2 feet in bounds. Yes, sir. Look at that second foot come down. Let's zoom in a little bit. Get a clearer look. Boom, bingo. 2 feet down, one-handed catch. That's a touchdown, baby. But, yes, it's a nice catch. But guess who's throwing the ball out here? This wasn't, the second string or the third string or just some random person that was delivering balls. It's Matt Stafford absolutely throwing dimes. There he is, folks. Number 9 in the red shirt. That's him. So we're getting our first look of Matt Stafford in training camp. And, this is a beautiful ball. Beautiful catch in the back of the end zone. So, we're hype on this Rams. We predict the Rams to get to the Super Bowl. Rams in the NFC, Colts coming out of the AFC. But, yeah, this first look of Matt Stafford here in the Rams uniform with the Rams wide receivers. Man, oh, man, look at this. Look at that. Beautifully placed, beautifully caught. So we know, Jared Goff in Sean McVay's mind wasn't the guy. He's real excited about Matt Stafford, and this man doesn't seem like he's skipping a beat, transitioning from that kind of Lions team where he was his entire career to first year with the Rams, looking real good out here. So this is going to be dangerous, folks. This Rams team is truly going to be great if Matt Stafford can play at this high level, which we think he can, and under Sean McVay's, quote, genius, which, is going to be determined this year. We'll see how it plays out, but watch out for this Rams team. They're already firing on all cylinders, and I know it's OTAs and there's no contact. I get it, folks, but to come in this early and looking real good, I'm all about it. So Matt Stafford looking real good out here for this Rams team. Fitting it. Just look at him throw this ball, folks. Look at effortless. He's like side shuffling as he's throwing this absolutely accurate as heck ball. Get pumped. Get ready. If you're a Rams fan, man, oh man, Super Bowl or bust 1,000% on this Rams team. But looking absolutely, I can't get over it. Absolutely flawless. Absolutely effortless. Throwing it. I don't even know. He's literally side shuffling, throwing off of like a 1 foot, back foot, and it's absolutely on the money. Man, whew, fantastic. So, man, oh man, Rams, folks, they are truly going to be absolutely fantastic this year, and I cannot wait. 99 more days, folks. 99 more days till the NFL season starts. Whew. But that's not the only quarterback we can talk about in the OTAs. Another clip here emerging from the Broncos training camp. So we get Jerry Jeudy catching deep balls. Look at this one, running right under it. Sure catch right there. And look at that separation between him and the defender. I mean, easy step and a half. That's an easy wide open pass right here. And he's able to catch it and bring it in very, very cleanly. Looking great. That's just one pass. We get another one right here on the sideline, going up and getting it. Absolutely fantastic. But so yes, Jerry Jeudy's still looking good. But what's the quarterback situation looking like in Denver? It's a competition, folks. And who was delivering these balls? The guy that we think is going to win the starting job, folks. Number 5, Teddy Bridgewater, folks. Yes, sir. He's the one that was delivering all these beautiful balls to Jerry Jeudy. It wasn't Drew Lock. It wasn't Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Lock. This is both just number 5, Teddy B, looking real good in this first one. This nice deep ball. We can't count the yards on this one just because of the angle, the camera setup. We can't really see the yard markers. But I mean, this is a nice deep ball, and then he's at it again. Look at him right here. And I think, is this Drew Lock right there? Is he number 4? Just watching and being like, damn, I'm really about to lose the starting job here to Teddy Bridgewater. Damn. But I love that Teddy Bridgewater is stepping up. We thought it was absolutely, truly disrespectful that Matt Rule got rid of him after year 1, even though he was looking real solid, not 100% put together. He did have his downfalls of not getting it done in the red zone and not getting it done in the 2-minute drives before the end of halves and the end of games. So, he still had, stuff to clean up, but it's year 1 in a new system where Teddy Bridgewater, we all know his history, coming off that injury and never really getting a solidified starting role, just kind of backing up Drew Brees, and he stepped into that role and got it absolutely done, and he was looking solid. I mean, he never got blown out in a game. It was all one possession losses there for the Broncos. So with a new college head coach, so we were like, give him another year. But Matt Rule thinks Sam Darnold is going to come in and do better than what Teddy Bridgewater does. We'll see how that plays out. But the fact that Teddy Bridgewater is back to this is his 4th team now. Started with the Panthers and the Saints, or did he start with the Vikings? Yeah, Vikings, Saints, Panthers, and now the Broncos. So, he still has it. We believe 1,000% in Teddy Bridgewater, and he's out here delivering it out on the practice field, and you love to see it. So, a little insight here from training camp. We got the quarterbacks showing out, the wide receivers showing out, and we'll see how they do for the rest of the offseason and as we get a little bit closer towards the start of the season. But it seems like Teddy Bridgewater is going to win the Broncos starting job, and we kind of called it a little bit. So we'll just leave it at that. So very well done to Matt Stafford and Teddy B, delivering absolutely beautiful balls in OTS. All right, let's keep moving on here. We get 3-time Pro Bowl tight end Delanie Walker is going to be working out for the 49ers today after sitting out last season. Folks, this man is like a 38-year-old tight end, folks, a great tight end in this league. And it just I want to bring this back to the Jaguars with Tim Tebow. I mean, the Jaguars went for Tim Tebow when Delanie Walker was still out here. Yeah, he's a little older, but he's proven at the position where, Tim Tebow is not even proven at his own position at quarterback. He was never good at quarterback. So it's just, once again, we can't really respect what the Jags are doing. I'm not believing in Urban Meyer. If he proves us wrong, that's fine. We'll change our opinion. We've got no problem. But everything that we've been seeing out of that Jaguars organization, Urban Meyer, is just, everything is just like, are we here to win, or are we here to make the news and sell jerseys? So the 49ers are potentially going to take a chance on a 38-year-old tight end, while the Jaguars are bringing in Tim Tebow. 9 years removed from the league, couldn't make it in baseball, couldn't make it as a quarterback. So it's just drastic comparison, drastic differences between a Super Bowl contender in the 49ers with Kyle Shanahan and an absolute clown circus in the Jaguars and Urban Meyer. So that's what the 49ers are up to, and we'll see if Delanie Walker is actually going to make the roster or not. Alrighty, let's talk about this Panthers story right here. Panthers released quarterback Tommy Stevens, who some thought could be their version of Taysom Hill. Now, this may not seem like a big story, but we're gonna tie it right back to what we've been saying all season, that Matt Rule maybe doesn't have the best judgment, and this year too is huge for Matt Rule. Like we said a little bit earlier, getting rid of Teddy Bridgewater, even though he had decent success last year one, and believing in Sam Darnold, where Sam Darnold really hasn't shown us anything, and that's not totally his fault because Adam Gase is just an absolute garbage head coach and a quarterback guru. I mean, that's I still cannot believe that was a narrative at some point. It's just ridiculous. But the fact that the Panthers thought that this guy could be Taysom Hill and didn't pan out, and then they got rid of Teddy Bridgewater and bringing in Sam Darnold this year, maybe that doesn't pan out either. So this is a huge year, a huge season for Matt Rule. He needs to prove that that he can win games. He's got to improve from 4 wins last season to more. He's got to at least improve to at least 7 wins. Got to kind of improve a little bit there. So he's got to win games, but he also has to make sure that Sam Darnold gets it done year one, because he didn't believe in Teddy Bridgewater after year one. So this is, Matt Rule has his guy now. He has to start winning, and he has to prove that he's made the right decision. But the fact that they bring in this guy, Tommy Stevens, thinking that he could be Taysom Hill, and then he really didn't pan out, already cut him, basically at the end of OTAs, not the greatest look on Matt Rule's judgment so far. So Matt Rule, big season for him this season, and he better hope that Teddy Bridgewater, A, doesn't win that starting job in the Broncos, and B, doesn't take that Broncos team to the playoffs, because then Matt Rule's going to have big old egg on his face. Absolutely. So a little bit more pressure on Matt Rule to get it done with the Panthers this year. Alrighty, today is June 2nd, folks. June 2nd. Today is the day that we believe that Julio Jones is going to be traded. We haven't heard anything yet, but it's still a little early in the day, folks. A little bit noon Eastern. So we still got time for the trade to go down. We've already had a big breaking story with Danny Ainge and the Celtics, and we'll get to that a little bit later. But for Julio Jones, let's start looking at the cap space. That's something that we haven't really considered so far. We've just been kind of looking at the fit and where Julio Jones wants to go. But we've got an updated list of all the NFL teams' cap spaces here. This was updated yesterday, so I doubt too much has changed. I know the Bengals just signed Jamar Chase to his big deal, so maybe that takes into a little bit of an effect. But, overall, the numbers are really kind of in this range anyway. So let's take a look at the cap space for all the 32 NFL teams and see how the favorites of Julio Jones are going to be landing compared to what their cap space is. So the top 5 in cap space, Jaguars at number 1 at $39 million. They have all that cash to spend, and they want to bring in Tim Tebow. What's up with that? Can we get some good, proven talent, please? You've got the money to go out and get them, but Urban Meyer wants to clown around with his old pal from Florida in Tim Tebow. Not loving it. Broncos the second at $32 million. Look to see them kind of get that piece that they need. The OTAs are coming to a close. We're starting to get into that next phase of kind of the offseason, and we'll see what the Broncos can kind of do here and make a splash if there's any more free agents available at whatever position they need. The Jets, number 2 at $29 million. All that money. And once again, Robert Saleh isn't signing Richard Sherman, folks. That's real kind of telling on what Richard Sherman is currently at 33 years old. Probably still doesn't have it if Robert Saleh isn't signing him, because we know they have history with each other. The Bengals at the 4th at $24 million, and the Browns at the 5th at $21 million. So those are the top 5 of cap spaces there. But let's start talking about Julio Jones and what's the cap hit going to be. So we all know if the Falcons trade him after June 1st, which, it is after June 1st, and they have not traded him. So whenever they trade him, they are going to save $15 million against the cap. And that's real good for the Falcons, because they are actually 31st in cap space at a laughable $357,000, folks. They don't even have $1 million to spend. They are working with thousands of dollars here. So this is huge. We know the trade is going to come, and it's definitely going to happen. They're going to free up $15 million in cap space, and this one move alone of trading Julio Jones here would move the Falcons from 31st in cap space all the way up to at least number 11 at $15 million. So that's a huge jump. More what they can do, more players that they can sign, more talent that they can acquire, because we already know they've got good pass catchers. Yes, Julio Jones is very good, but his health is starting to play a huge impact. His age, he is 33, starting to get up there. We just talked about it the other day. Randy Moss retired at like 32. Not really that great there, looking at what Julio Jones is going to be doing. But the fact that they can, let's go back to the Falcons receivers. They got Calvin Ridley, who we all believe in. I mean, he's A1 tier 1 already, folks. Absolutely getting it done. And then bringing in Kyle Pitts, that tight end that's basically a huge freaking wide receiver. Tall, fast, at the tight end position. So the Falcons aren't going to be they are going to be missing Julio Jones a little bit, because, they take away that number 1 corner on Julio Jones, which once again frees up Calvin Ridley and Kyle Pitts. We get all that, but, they still have the weapons to be able to still be successful without Julio Jones. So trading him frees up $15 million in cap space, which is absolutely what they are looking to do here. Like we said, I mean, so now it's, how is the cap space going to be acquired now? So we know that the Falcons are going to be saving $15 million, but what are the teams really going to be paying when they acquire him? So let's look at what they've got to spend here on kind of the front runners: the Seahawks, the Patriots, the Rams, the Titans. Those are kind of not the Seahawks. That's just something that's been talked about a lot. I don't truly believe in that, but let's see how those teams that are kind of making the big noise of acquiring Julio Jones, and let's see how they stack up. So let's start here with who we think is going to happen. The Titans, they're at the 29th. They're ranked number 29th in cap space with $3.3 million. Now, these teams don't need to have $15 million to get Julio Jones. They can bring him in and then restructure their contract. The cap space in the NFL is a little kind of hard to figure out, but we are in this kind of period, this off-season period right now. This is why they have to do it after June 1st, because this is when the period officially starts, where they can start breaking down money and splitting the money from this season, during this season, and next season. So they can bring in that $15 million contract of Julio Jones, split it around, maybe, say, all right, we're going to make $10 million that, a signing bonus, which isn't against the cap, and then only having this year's cap be, $3, $4, $5 million. They can maybe get it that low, $2-3 million. Potentially looking at $5 million. You probably need $5 million, at least $5 million in cap space to acquire him. So the Titans looking at 3.3. They would have to do a lot of kind of not loopholes, because that's what this period is for, to disperse the money. But Titans looking at $3.3 million. They may want to free up a couple more milli just to really be able to kind of do whatever they need to with that Julio Jones $15 million contract that they will have to split up between signing bonus and salary and this year and next year. So there is still some wiggle room here for the lower cap space teams to kind of work in how they can acquire Julio Jones. But Titans at $3.3 million. Potentially going there. The Rams at $7 million. I really think we were kind of deciding, the two teams that we really think that Julio Jones is going to go to is either the Titans or the Rams. And now looking at kind of the cap space, I really think we're gonna make our final selection here, because we do believe the trade is going to happen at any moment. I think it's definitely going to happen at the end of this week, by Friday at the latest. I truly think it's going to happen today, though. But we are going to say that the Rams are our official pick of getting Julio Jones. $7 million cap space. That's plenty of money to acquire Julio Jones. That's fine right there. The reason why we like the Titans is because he was working out with Derrick Henry, and everybody was recruiting him there. But the 3.3 is kind of giving us a little skepticism that they would be able to kind of make it work with that huge contract that they kind of have to disperse over the next 2 years. So the Rams at $7 million. Now, why the Patriots are so kind of front runners in all the odds that we have been seeing, they're the clear-cut favorites, is because they got $15 million in cap space. So, I mean, they've got plenty of kind of room to do whatever they need to do with that contract, split it up however they need to, signing bonus, front end, back end loaded, heavy front end loaded, it doesn't matter. The Patriots do have a lot of money to really work with, and they don't really have anything else to kind of go after. I mean, we already saw them make that big spending spree at the start of free agency, getting all those kind of tier 2 Alshon Jeffrey, those 2 tight ends, getting kind of tier 2 weapons at a decent price, and all the defensive players are returning last year that opted out because of the COVID season and all that. So the Patriots don't have that many more needs to fill, and they still have $15 million in cap space to spend. So that's probably why the Patriots are front runners at Julio Jones, just because of the math. It probably works out a lot better than what the Rams and the Titans would have to do to acquire him. And then who else are we talking about? The Seahawks. Where are they at? They're at $7.2 million in cap space. So once again, solid money there to acquire him. I just don't think that's the direction they're going to be heading. They've got great talent already. It's not like they need that true A1 tier 1 wide receiver in our opinion. So we'll be keeping tracks on it. I'm hoping it breaks during the show. That's kind of what we're hoping for here. So far, has he been traded? Let's quickly look. We're 21 minutes in. Let's see if anything's been breaking. And it does not seem so, because it would be all over the timeline, and we are scrolling, and we are not seeing it yet. So, all right, the Julio Jones trade has not happened yet, but watch out for the Rams to go and try to get it. I really think they have enough cap space to get that. So, and now let's also talk about the Colts. Where are the Colts at? Because we know that, they are kind of in the contention as well. They're kind of middle of the field. I think the last time we checked, they were plus 1,000, which is, not the greatest odds there. But the Colts are having $14.7 million in cap space. And once again, what do the Colts need? They're already good at the wide receiver position. We do like T.Y. Hilton and Micah Pittman Jr., but I mean, they've got the running backs. The offensive line seems solid. The defense, it was always great last year. So there's not really, once again, the Colts don't really have that much to really kind of build around. They still got $14 million to play with. So once again, Julio Jones, solid landing spot here for the Colts. They can definitely make the money work if they need to. So that's where we're at with Julio Jones. I'm truly expecting this trade to happen any minute. Like we said, they've been talking about it. It's just they had to wait until after June 1st. It's not like, all right, now we can start talking about it after June 1st. They've been talking about this. We knew this was a story. They're all been recruiting him for at least the last month, and we've just heard that, Julio Jones actually requested this trade a couple months before the news officially broke that, when Adam Schefter tweeted, hey, if they trade him after June 1st, then they'll save $15 million, and that really got the media ball rolling on this Julio Jones trade saga. So they've been talking about it, folks. They've been doing this behind the scenes for at least the last month. So there's really no more time to kind of waste. Why waste this time? Go make the deal. Get this man on your team as soon as possible. Free up that cap space for the Falcons as soon as possible so they can start kind of filling those other needs before those free agents kind of start drying up. And I would say it. I mean, if you save $15 million in Julio Jones, I mean, what do the Falcons need? A running back heavy? And we just heard Le'Veon Bell is going to take his time. So I really think Le'Veon Bell and the Falcons could be a great matchup here. They've already got the wide receiver weapons, but their running backs are truly lackluster. Mike Davis they have from the Panthers last year, who was a solid running back, but it was like 600 yards, and it was big shoes to fill in with Christian McCaffrey, obviously. But, I mean, that's their number one running back. And then Cordell Patterson. Everybody tries to make this man work as a running back, and he never does. I think his best rushing season was like 400 yards. I mean, folks, he's truly not a number one running back. Absolutely not. Now, if he can be number two behind Mike Davis, but once again, Mike Davis himself isn't truly a number one running back in this league either. So I really think this Falcons team wants to get this deal done as quickly as possible to free up cap space to acquire potentially Le'Veon Bell, who I think would be a pretty solid fit here for Atlanta, trying to kind of not rebuild this team. Not really a rebuild, even though they're bringing in a new head coach and getting rid of the face of the franchise in Julio Jones, still keeping Matt Ryan. So it's not a total rebuild just quite yet. So let's see if they can kind of do something with this $15 million that they're going to free up. And let's see what they can kind of assemble with their team. But That's where we're at with Julio Jones. Truly, wait, I mean, I have the notification on, ESPN, whatever app you use, have that notification on, turn that volume up so you don't miss it, because it is truly going to come really any minute. And we're hoping it comes today, so we're right. So, but we'll see how that goes. Alrighty, let's keep moving on here. Another quote from Big Ben in this offseason. Ben Roethlisberger, quote, "I'm going to approach this season like I do every season, like it's my last." Alrighty, but this is truly your last season. I mean, you had to take the pay cut. I mean, this team didn't even really want you back. It's just, you've won us 2 rings. You're the face of the franchise. We're going to give you this year just because you've done so much for this organization, and we're going to kind of respect that a little bit. So, Big Ben, I mean, let's maybe put a little bit more work in, because he's not getting another year, folks. There's no way, after what we saw from last season, that decline in the arm, what we're expecting to see this season, a $1 million kind of deal just for this year alone, he's not getting next year. Like, this is it. This is Big Ben's last year, folks. So let's see what we get in this article right here. See if we get anything more interesting other than just a headline. So here we go. Ben Roethlisberger returns to Pittsburgh for his 18th season. Jeez, 18 years, man. A solid career, don't get us wrong. 2 rings, I'll give it to him. But 18 years, whew, solid year, solid run. So Ben Roethlisberger returns to Pittsburgh for his 18th season in what feels like a swan song for the 39-year-old, but the QB insists he's treating 2021 no different than any other season. Quote, "I'm going to approach this like I do every season, like it's my last. I think that's the approach you have to take. You don't want to approach it that way because it could be your last, but you approach it because every single play in the game of football could be your last." Yeah, okay. I mean, that's just... that's classic boilerplate nonsense right there. Obviously, every play. I mean, ask Andrew Luck. I mean, that actually was. I mean, he took the injury and then he's like, "All right, I'm gonna be out of here." So yes, obviously, every game, every single play could be your last. Back to the quote, though. "Every game could be your last game. That just means I'm going to give it everything I have." Well, were you not giving it everything you have last year? Because if you weren't giving it everything you have last year, that arm, once again, I mean, what's going to change from last season to this season? If Big Ben truly prepares every season like it's his last, and last year was looking like it was going to be his last, and he still kind of fell off at the back end of the season, is that supposed to make us feel good about what's going to happen this season? I don't know about this. "I'm going to give it everything I have. I've never looked toward the future. I've always looked toward the right here and now. That's what's important for me for this season, is giving everything I have right here and right now for the guys of this group." I mean, he was saying the same thing last year, folks. And so we're still going to be kind of, rooting for Big Ben with the running game. Hopefully he can kind of prolong the decline of the arm in the back half of the season, rely on Najee Harris. I mean, last year it was James Conner, folks. I mean, he was not good. I mean, he may be a good running back, and he'll have his opportunity to prove himself this year. Did he go to the Cardinals? Is that where he went? I believe it's the Cardinals, but new chance at a new team. Let's see what James Conner can do. But, I mean, for last year, I mean, the running game was kind of non-existent and a non-factor in all their games and all their wins. The running game was truly not a factor. So Big Ben was having to rely on, I mean, they had the wide receivers. I mean, that's kind of why, once again, maybe they weren't running the ball too much. It's like, well, we've got kind of 4 wide receivers deep here, 5 wide receivers deep here. So let's use Big Ben, use his arm, and get it done downfield. But, bringing in Najee Harris to carry the workload, and we believe that he's going to come in and get it done year one. We really think Najee Harris is going to come out of the gate swinging big time. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that Najee Harris is going to be top 5 running backs in the league. I mean, Derrick Henry's clearly going to be number 1. Dalvin Cook's probably number 2. Christian McCaffrey, since he's back, probably going to be in the top 5 as well. But it's like, who are the surefire running backs in the league? Dalvin Cook, Derrick Henry, Alvin Kamara, Christian McCaffrey, those 2 just because they're dual threat. But, I mean, Ezekiel Elliott, Saquon Barkley is going to be a little tough in that top 5 as well. But, I mean, Ezekiel Elliott, he floundered last season. I truly think Najee Harris is going to come in and be top 5 running backs this season. So that's definitely something that the Steelers are going to need 100%, absolutely, because like we just said, I mean, Big Ben's arm is declining in the back half of the season. And that's just father time. It's unfortunate. And once again, Tom Brady being that true outlier. I mean, Big Ben's only 39, folks. Tom Brady's, 43, 44 years old. So we'll see how the Steelers play the season. But Big Ben's going into this season like it's his last. But he does that every season. So we'll see how he's looking this year, but Najee Harris is going to be the key for the Steelers this season. I think everybody knows it. Nobody really wants to say it because nobody wants to disrespect Ben Roethlisberger on their team, which I get. He's a legend. He's a career. He's a Hall of Famer. Absolutely. Surefire first ballot, whenever the first day, throw him in there. Absolutely. Start bronzing his statue now. Get him ready. So he's definitely had a great year, a great career, won the rings, accolades, yards, records, Hall of Fame career, absolutely. But we'll see how he ends his career. Does he go out on the top like Peyton Manning, Ray Lewis, or does he kind of go out bad like Drew Brees last year, 3 interceptions in his last playoff game? We'll see. Alrighty, let's talk about the Bengals again. And we just talked about Joe Burrow yesterday. We were a little questionable on it because we saw the 9 of 46 on deep throws of 20 yards or more, which is absolutely atrocious. 9 of 46, absolutely trash. So we were a little like, and then him coming off the injury, so maybe we weren't really expecting the year to leap, but we get his head coach here saying differently. So let's see if we can change our opinion on Joe Burrow here. But Bengals coach Zach Taylor says that quarterback Joe Burrow looks like the same old Joe. So maybe he hasn't lost a step since the injury. So let's see what his coach is saying about this man. Alrighty. By all accounts, Joe Burrow is on track to return good as new when the Cincinnati Bengals open up training camp in July. During OTAs, the QB is already turning heads in stinging hands. Oh yeah. Quote, "It's been fun watching him because he looks good throwing the football," head coach Zach Taylor said. Obviously, he can't do all the moves and stuff. Well, that's not the greatest. Obviously, he can't do all the moves and stuff and what he'll be doing once the season rolls around. But just watching him throw the football, it's the same old Joe. So the arm is still there. The same old Joe. I don't know if that's something we really want to hear of a year one rookie quarterback. I don't know. I mean, having the same old Joe of the 9 of 46 downfield passes, we want to see that improve. We don't want to see that. We don't want to see the same old Joe. We want to see better Joe. But he is still coming off that injury, which we know. And just reiterated here of what his head coach says. Obviously, he can't do all the moves and stuff just quite yet. But once the season begins and once he has the extra time to heal, we believe he's going to be right back to normal. So that's solid here by Joe Burrow. But what I want to do is, because I was trying to fit this into yesterday's show, I do kind of want to go back to one of Joe Burrow's best games of what he did last season, because that deep throw accuracy really kind of scared us when we were reading that article on Joe Burrow yesterday. So this game, when was this? I want to say this is like week 6. And I can actually see it right now. This is week 7 in the NFL here, and this was Joe Burrow's best game. 406 yards by a mile. This was his best game. I think he had like a 400-yard game, which is this one, a 300-yard game, and then all the other ones are like solid, mid 200s, which is always solid in this in the league. But I want to go to this film right here, and we'll get Joe Burrow all of his throws here, and let's see the deep ball. Let's see how it's looking here. I think we're only going to get completions in that highlight package. So once again, we'll take everything we see as a grain of salt. And we'll try to go through this a little quickly here. But let's see what Joe Burrow's actual deep ball looking. Because, we have to take the stats with the film. That's what we do during the NFL season. We do look at the stats, but we back it up with the film and vice versa. So let's see how Joe Burrow was looking last season to see maybe, all right, that stat was a little blown out of proportion. Maybe there were a lot of drops. Maybe the ball placement was good. So let's see what we get here. Let's see if we can feel a little bit better on Joe Burrow, because yesterday we were having a little bit of a bad taste in our mouth after what we were reading. So here we go. Joe Burrow against the Browns here, throwing for 406 yards. We're going to skip past any of the short kind of checkdowns. We're just looking for his deep ball ability. And let's see if we got anything here in this 406-yard game, or they all just dink and dunk, run after the catch. So let's see what we get here, and let's roll the tape. So first play up, dropping back. Here we go. This is, I think this is 15 yards. What do we got here? 5 yards for the first down. He's another 5 yards after that. So not really a deep ball, but, a solid intermediate ball, and it's right on the money to A.J. Green. We love it. Here we go. Yes, here we go. This is a deep ball. Here we go. Throwing it from the 40, getting it all the way down to about the 25-yard line. And this is one-on-one. And the receiver played this absolutely beautifully, boxing out the defender. And Joe Burrow puts it right on the money. All righty, now we're talking. That was fantastic. Here we go in the red zone. Just a short pass. We'll skip this one. Another kind of over the middle for about 8 yards. Nothing great. And the receiver actually fumbled it. Maybe down by contact. On the goal line. What do we get here? Joe Burrow rushing. He's not going to be doing that no more confidently. I mean, after that leg injury, this man, we'll see. I mean, we'll see if he's kind of, dancing around this injury come up this season. But I don't know if we're going to be sending him in on these kind of QB sneaks from the 1-inch line to score the touchdown. We'll see, though. Alrighty, another little dump off here. Free play, it looks like. Maybe drew him off sides. Going deep. Oh, yes. Okay, here we go. Throwing it from the 20. A free play. Knows he has it. I mean, this is 30 yards, folks, from the 20 to the 50. And he puts this one right on the money. Back shoulder, right on the boundary, where only the receiver can get it. Absolutely well done here. So we saw 2 real great deep balls. Here's a setup screen, so we'll skip this one. Once again, just a little short throw on that one. Here we go. Is this going to be a deep ball? Throwing it from the 30. All right, getting it down to the 40. That's about 20-plus yards right here on the sideline. I mean, man, oh, man, once again, first of all, these receivers are all in prime position here, and he's delivering the ball absolutely well. We love it. So, all right, maybe the deep ball isn't as bad as that stat really made it seem. Let's keep going here. This is in the red zone. We'll take a look at this one. Right over the middle of the field. Ooh, tight ball. Yes, sir. Woof. 15 yards, 19 yards, 18 yards, however you want to call this one. It's 2nd and goal, so maybe we over-exaggerated. But, I mean, he's throwing it from the 20. Yeah, 20-yard pass right in the front of the end zone in quadruple coverage, and he's able to fit that ball in. So I truly think we blew that maybe stat a little bit too much out of proportion here, because in this game, it's looking real solid where he's putting the ball, the deep ball accuracy. We're really loving it. Here we go, scrambling. Little 15-yard on the run. That was right on the money. Slant over the middle for about 8 yards. Check down right there. Real simple. That's wide open. Easy peasy. Here we go. What else did we get here? They're down 20-24 in the 4th quarter. Can Joe Burrow be the savior? He's going to run for it. And once again, he's looking real good running. How is he going to be running after the injury, folks? Yet to be determined. But looking pretty solid there. Picks up the first down on the ground. Little dump off here. Little dump off here. Come on, Joey B. Let's see that deep ball. It's unfortunate that these are all the completions. Obviously, we're not seeing the incompletions here. Touchdown here after a little dink off. Right over the middle for 10. Short throw there. Come on, where are these deep balls? Joey B. Scrambling out of the pocket, keeping his eyes down the field. That's about 15. We're looking for 20-plus. That's the stat we saw. Joe Burrow, oh my God, he's definitely not going to be doing this. Oh my goodness, look at him try to pick up this first down. Diving head first, 3rd and 11. I don't know if he's going to be doing that next year. We'll see, though. Maybe he does. Maybe, the injury is truly behind him. And that was really it. But, I mean, we saw 2 really great. I mean, the accuracy is there on these completions. Deep ball accuracy on the sideline, getting it done, squeezing it over the middle in tight spaces. So, all right, we're kind of back on, getting back up there with Joey B. So we can start buying Joe Burrow a little bit more. Just that stat that we saw yesterday and talked about on the show kind of gave us a bad taste in our mouth. But, hey, that's what we do on the show. We investigate, challenge our own narratives, and we're kind of back up on top. We're back over 50% in believing in Joe Burrow this season. So we'll see what comes out for the next. I mean, like we said, we just hit the 100-day mark yesterday, 100 days until the start of the NFL season. So 99 more days, and we'll see how this man still progresses. But I think we're back on buying Joey B. Alrighty, here we go. Let's talk about the Broncos right here. Broncos wide receiver Jerry Jeudy, quote, "I feel like I've matured after a drop-filled rookie campaign." And we just saw him with, at the top of the show, him catching these absolutely great balls, not wide open, but a nice step and a half over the defender, running under the ball, getting it there. Here he goes, jumping up, getting it on the sideline. We saw all that, getting those balls caught by no other than Teddy B. So that's definitely good promise here. And I mean, we had to go and look at, his catch percentage from what he did last season, because if he's saying that, it was a drop-filled rookie campaign, I mean, maybe it truly was, and it actually truly was. I mean, it was a 46% catch percentage last season. Absolutely atrocious. Now, I know that, he was targeted 113 times last season, which is definitely, high. Get anything more than 100 targets is definitely solid work for a wide receiver. But we can't be as low as 46% catch percentage. Honestly, I want you at like high 60s. I want like 60 to like mid 70s. That's really what I want to see from my A1 tier 1 great wide receivers on my team. So this man was nowhere near the mark last season, but we give him the benefit of the doubt because it's your rookie season. And when we go in this article right here, he puts it absolutely perfectly. So let's go to this article real quick. Here we go. He's got a good quote. Alrighty. Entering his second season, the talented receiver said he's grown and ready to reach new heights. Quote, I feel like I've matured. You don't know what you're getting yourself into during your first year of doing something. Yeah, absolutely. First year, yes, you've played football your entire life, but I mean, folks, we hear time and time again that, the speed of the NFL is so much faster. That's the huge adjustment from college to the NFL, the speed of the game. So you can hear about it and you can, take everybody's kind of, you can take all their kind of words and experiences, and you can hear whatever you can hear everything, from Randy Moss, from the Hall of Famers. Yeah, the speed of the game is truly changing, but you truly don't know until that first game where you step on the field, and then it just smacks you in the mouth. Be like, damn, all right, they really were not understating this or underestimating the speed of the game. Like, whew, let me catch my breath for a second, but there's no time to catch your breath. You're out there again and again and again and again and again and again and again. So, yeah, I love this quote right here by him. You don't know what you're getting yourself into during your first year of doing something. This is my second year, and I feel like I have learned a lot from my first year. I know how to overcome whatever I had in past years to make this year better. And man, oh man, what an absolutely great quote here. He was backing it up after what we saw. Like we said at the top of the show, we just, we started with it. Those great balls thrown by Teddy Bridgewater. But yeah, I mean, we saw DK Metcalf, poor catch percentage his first year, get it up to 60s his second year. Same thing, we just looked at Julio Jones, first 2 years, really kind of struggled. He was at like 56% catch percentage his rookie year, got that up to like mid 60s. So I've got no doubt that Jerry Jeudy can do the same, especially maybe a little bit more of an accurate passer. I mean, we just saw, that's why we like Teddy Bridgewater so much, was because he made those two kind of not totally A1 tier 1 wide receivers, and oh man, I'm blanking on those receivers' names. For the Panthers, he made both of those wide receivers 1,000-yard plus receivers, two of them. So I've got no doubt that Teddy Bridgewater can definitely increase Jerry Jeudy, and we know that Drew Lock was a little wild with the ball last season. That's kind of been our one knock on Drew Lock, is like the interceptions and not getting going early and just the wildness, the inconsistencies that we've been seeing with him all last season. And Jerry Jeudy was trying his damnedest because, once again, it's his rookie year, never knowing what to expect, and he still made it decently work. How many yards did he have last season? Was he over 1,000? What do we got? Jerry Jeudy. 856, 3 touchdowns. So, just under that 1,000-yard mark, but he's playing with Drew Lock. Folks, Drew Lock's in his second year. He's trying to take that next step. So we're believing 100% into Jerry Jeudy and really, truly just the Broncos offense alone this season. I really think this Broncos team is going to be playoff contenders. I would definitely say that, at least. And we'll see how he goes. But Jerry Judy's believing in himself. We got the proof, the footage in the training camp. And we'll see how he improves in year 2. But we are big on this Broncos team, folks. Alrighty, let's keep going here. And Bruce Arians said something real wild, but we'll see. Here we go. Bruce Arians says Kyle Trask, who they just drafted, rookie quarterback, to sit behind Tom Brady. He's not going to challenge Tom Brady. Let's get that out. But Bruce Arians says Kyle Trask is not far behind Andrew Luck mentally wise as a rookie, and that definitely say that because Andrew Luck was absolutely fantastic. Just came in, delivered 4,300 yards, 23 touchdowns his rookie year, and then was really kind of 4,000 yards every time he completed an entire season. Obviously, in 2015 he only played 7 games. so he didn't have the 4,000-yard season. And then, his only bad season was his second season, but he was still up there. The completion percentage got better. It was only 3,800 yards, which is still solid, but he's throwing 4,000 yards every single season. So I'm not the biggest Kyle Trask fan. I kind of compare him a little bit to Mitch Trubisky, but, working out with Bruce Arians, sitting behind Tom Brady, maybe he can definitely learn and get better, but I wasn't the biggest fan of his coming out of college. But let's see what we get in this article right here and what Bruce Arians is really trying to say here. All right, so the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Super Bowl winning coach provided his latest eyebrow-raising comment, yeah, definitely that a little bit, when he compared second-round rookie Kyle Trask to Andrew Luck, who Arians worked with as a rookie in Indianapolis. Arians said that while Trask doesn't have Luck's physical gifts, and yes, truly, if he had Andrew Luck's physical gifts, he would have been the first quarterback taken, not a second round, not a project quarterback in this league. Arians said that while Trask doesn't have Luck's physical gifts, the mental acumen is there. What does acumen mean? I would say ability, mental capacity, mental learning, but let's get the real definition. Here we go. Acumen. The ability to make good judgments and quick decisions, typically in a particular domain. All right. That's a solid word right there. I'm about it. All right, quote. Mentally wise, he's not far behind what Andrew did in the same offense, and what Andrew did that rookie year, 2012, is unbelievable. I'm not saying he's Andrew Luck, but mentally he's still really sharp. And that's real solid news. Obviously, that's what you need from your quarterbacks. Real quick decision making. Acumen was the perfect word for it. The ability to make good judgments and quick decisions. That's exactly what you want from your quarterback. So this could be potential good here, folks. Maybe Bruce Arians has truly found the replacement of Tom Brady. And, we're not saying that he's kicking out Tom Brady. Tom Brady's going to be there as long as Tom Brady wants to be there. Whether he wants to go till 50, I would give him the pass. Even if he's not looking good, I'd be like, I don't care. He's been to 10 Super Bowls. He's won 7. You could play as long as you want. I do not care if you're only putting up 1,000 yards passing. I don't care if you have 40 interceptions in a season. If you pulled the Jameis Winston, I don't care. He's the leader. You're out there. So this could be, the succession plan for Bruce Arians right here. And if, Kyle Trask is as, mentally gifted as, Bruce Arians is saying, you can learn the talent. You can always get better, and you're learning from the best. You're learning from the best quarterback and one of the best coaches in the NFL. Bruce Arians, you need a quarterback in this league, folks. It's really, we give Bill Belichick a lot of credit as a head coach, but, he had Tom Brady. I had somebody else in mind. Patrick Mahomes with Andy Reid. Andy Reid was always a great head coach, never really had that good quarterback, now has Mahomes, and he's in the Super Bowl every season. So Bruce Arians is kind of the same as Andy Reid in that sense of, I'm always a solid head coach. I went 8-8 every season with freaking Jameis Winston, and this man was turning the ball over as many times as he was scoring the ball. So we get Bruce Arians here now starting to emerge as a great head coach because he's got the quarterback, and if he can kind of make that transition and coach up Kyle Trask while sitting behind Tom Brady, and then have Kyle Trask come out as soon as Tom Brady retires and still maintain that high level of success, now we're talking about Bruce Arians as a top-tier head coach of all time, potentially. But you definitely need the quarterback, folks. That's the most important position in football. The leader, the general on the field, the communicator, all that obviously delivers the ball. So this could potentially be good for Kyle Trask, and maybe we should start buying Kyle Trask a little bit more. So, I think we're going to have to start notching up Kyle Trask, because if Bruce Arians is believing in him and kind of comparing that mental ability to Andrew Luck, you can try to teach the fundamentals as much as you can, and we'll see how much he learns from Tom Brady. But it seems like Bruce Arians kind of likes the succession plan of Kyle Trask after Tom Brady, but we'll see if that works out. Obviously, we won't know for another, at least, probably 2 years, at least. But, hey, it's something to come back upon, and, we'll be here in 2 years. Don't worry about that. Alrighty, let's keep going here. Last football story of the day. Instant debate. Which non-quarterback rookie will have the biggest impact? Alrighty, so let's go through. We're going to go through the entire first round of this year's draft and just kind of see. I already think I know which one, but let's kind of go through them and talk through it and see if our minds changes. I really think it's going to be Najee Harris having the most impact, the biggest impact. He's really instantly set up to have success. I mean, the infrastructure of the offense is already there. The receivers are there to take away the attention, and he's not competing with any other running back, so he's already the starter. I mean, that's a given. I don't think anybody's doubting that. But let's go through here. We're only going to take the first rounders because, I mean, they're mostly all going to start and all this, but we're looking at non-quarterbacks making the biggest impact year one. So here we go. Trevor Lawrence, obviously quarterback. Zach Wilson with the Jets, quarterback. Trey Lance with the 49ers, quarterback. Now, here we go. Kyle Pitts, tight end for the Falcons. And yeah, definitely. Is he going to have a little bit of a better season than Najee Harris? Potentially, definitely, now that we know that Julio Jones is most likely getting traded. So yeah, Kyle Pitts could definitely make a big impact here. So we'll have him as the number one since he's the first one that we ran into. Jamar Chase at LSU. Yes, he's definitely going to make a big impact. I don't know how much. Once again, Joe Burrow, how is he going to progress from year one to year two? How much is kind of a speedy wide receiver going to kind of get it done in this offense as well? I would say that Kyle Pitts would probably have a bigger impact just because the infrastructure is already there in Atlanta, where this Bengals team is coming off that injury of their rookie in the second year of a rookie quarterback and a rookie head coach. So I don't know how much of a huge impact overall. He may have a great year, but when we're talking about overall impact of attributing to wins, I don't know if the Bengals are set up to win right now. So I'm going to give it to Kyle Pitts over Jamar Chase. We get Jalen Waddle with the Dolphins, and, it's solid, but once again, how's Tua going to look? How is our defense that, Brian Flores is, messing around with every single season, bringing in players for 1 year and then getting rid of them the next year, which, I've got no problems with. Brian Flores has never let us down, so I'm always going to believe in what he's doing, but, the running game is still a little bit of a question mark here for the Dolphins, and I don't know if Jalen Waddle is going to be that receiver that really is able to, once again, impact it by getting the wins. I think Kyle Pitts will have a little bit more success there. So we're still going with Kyle Pitts. Seventh overall pick here, Penei Sewell. Well, let me get his name right because everybody was clowning me, and I heard it right. Let me see if I can recall it. Penei Sewell. There it is. Bingo, bango. Penei Sewell for the offensive tackle for the Lions here. Once again, I mean, an offensive tackle is not going to make an impact when you have Dan Campbell as the head coach. So, no, he's going to have zero impact. And he's in a new position. He's on the right side instead of the left side. It's like, is that really going to be that good? Is he even going to be good? I'm sure he's going to be fine, but is he going to be a number 7th overall tackle? I'm not buying it. So we still got Kyle Pitts. J.C. Horn with the Panthers. And yeah, the Panthers defense is solid here. But once again, how is Sam Darnold going to look? So you can have a good defense, but you still need to put up points. I don't think J.C. Horn is going to be able to make that impact that attributes to wins all by himself like Kyle Pitts could. Patrick Surtain, once again, with that Broncos team, the quarterback situation, we got to figure it out. I'm believing in Teddy Bridgewater, and I think he's going to have the job, and I really do think this Broncos team is going to be real great contenders here. But once again, how is the offense going to work? Is Melvin Gordon still going to be good? He's talking himself up a little bit too much, in my opinion, and I did like Phillip Lindsay a little bit better than him. So overall, in the grand scheme of things, I think it's going to be a little bit more than a cornerback here that makes a true impact. Devontae Smith for the Eagles. I mean, we do like Jalen Hurts, and he is coming into his second season, but I mean, we do not like Nick Sirianni at all. Once again, everything that we've been hearing from him and Dan Campbell, we truly, and Urban Meyer, we can't even get behind because everything that we're hearing from him is like, winning head coaches don't do this. Winning head coaches don't say this. Winning head coaches don't want to bring a freaking real lion to practice and asking the owner to get a lion. Bill Belichick doesn't have rookies play rock, paper, scissors to determine who's more competitive. So it's just like, yeah, Devontae Smith could be real good, but overall, we need that head coach, and I don't think Nick Sirianni is that. But I do believe Jalen Hurts is going to be able to get Devontae Smith the ball. So it's still going with Kyle Pitts here. Justin Fields for the Bears. That's a quarterback. Michael Parsons, linebacker for the Cowboys. I don't care what type of talent you have defensively. You're coached by Dan Campbell. So you better hope you're the Legion of Boom or you're going to flounder. So I can't give it to Michael Parsons. Rashawn Slater, tackle for the Chargers. Once again, are we going to believe in a tackle? We have this kind of head coach that has a lot of pressure on him because they just fired Anthony Lynn, who did a solid job, but the only knock on Anthony Lynn was that he lost close games. So we'll see if the offensive tackle here is the main key that really turns around this Chargers teams and has them start winning those close games. I can't give it to him either. So we're still going with Kyle Pitts. Elijah Vera Tucker, offensive guard for the Jets. Once again, I'm not going to give it to a guard here, especially with their rookie head coach in Robert Saleh. Mac Jones with the Patriots is a quarterback, so he's out of the competition, or out of the running. Here we go. Xavier Collins, linebacker for the Cardinals. Absolutely. He could definitely be, I mean, the offense is always loaded here for the Cardinals. That's definitely not the problem. And the defense just needed something else to kind of shore it up. You've got Budda Baker. You've got J.J. Watt coming off of the line. So they did lose Patrick Peterson, a corner. So I don't know if the linebacker is going to make that more of an impact than a corner, but a new corner. But yeah, Xavier Collins definitely. I think I might give it to Xavier Collins so far, honestly. We loved what we saw. Is he, what do we got on our big board here? Was he our number one linebacker? Let's quickly get that up. Do we even have it up anymore? Did our Google Docs close? Oh, no. Damn, we'll have to get that back up. Oh, it's right here, I think. If I go back? Here we go. Okay. Yeah, where's he at? Our defensive big board. We got Xavier Collins as a number 2 linebacker overall in this year's draft. But, yeah, I think I'm going to give it to Xavier Collins. I think, not a lot of pressure on him. He can kind of just kind of be that, safety blanket, just kind of be that game manager in the defense while all the other kind of established players in this league take over. So, yeah, I'm going to actually give it to Xavier Collins, the non-quarterback rookie so far that can make the biggest impact here. We're going to give it to Xavier Collins. Alex Leatherwood with the Raiders. Can't give it to him either. I mean, I'm not going to give it to a tackle on a John Gruden-led head coach team. I don't think that's going to be the problem here, especially where everybody says that they overreached on this man as well. I mean, he had an overall 60 rank, folks. I mean, this is just according to ESPN, but he went number 17. So a little bit of an overreach, everybody's saying. Jalen Phillips, defensive end for the Dolphins. Well, I didn't even like the pick anyway, so I'm not going to give it to that. Jamin Davis, linebacker for Washington. Once again, definitely solid here, but that offense is a big question mark for this Washington team. The quarterback, first of all, and then how are they going to be able to progress with really just kind of that Terry McLaurin rookie wide receiver turning into his second year. How is he going to progress? Really didn't bring in that many other weapons. So I think the defensive side of the ball is solid here for Washington, but we still need something on the offense. Kadarius Toney for the Giants, absolutely, could definitely make a huge impact here. We love Kadarius Toney. A lot of people have Jalen Waddle being the next kind of Tyreek Hill-esque player, but we really think it's going to be Kadarius Toney that kind of makes everybody kind of second guess that decision. We really think Kadarius Toney is the closest thing to Tyreek Hill. But once again, that Giants defense and how well is Saquon Barkley going to look. So I don't know if, and Kadarius Toney is going to be probably the 4th option wide receiver just to start, maybe 3rd. He can work his way up to the 3rd. But we know that the Giants just went heavy at wide receiver in this offseason. So we're still giving it to Xavier Collins for the Cardinals. Kwity Paye, defensive end for the Colts. And absolutely, I mean, the Colts are truly, solid at every position here, and they are in a prime position to win now. So I think I'm going to give it to Kwity Paye over Xavier Collins so far. This edge rusher, that's what wins in this league. We're kind of seeing this new formula in the new kind of era of passing that we've just been entering into over the last maybe 2 or 3 seasons. That's what won the Bucs the Super Bowl last season, that pressure on Patrick Mahomes. We all know the stat that he ran like 400 yards just in total around the field. That's just escaping pressure. So I'm going to give it to Kwity Paye so far at number 21, but we've got a couple more players to go through. Caleb Fairley, Tennessee Titans. Well, we still need the offense. I mean, they lost one of their good wide receivers, so I don't know, once again, if a cornerback here for the Titans is single-handedly going to be able to do it. Christian Darrisaw, offensive tackle for the Vikings. Yeah, maybe, but Dalvin Cook is still going to fumble, and Kirk Cousins is still going to turn it over in the big game. So, once again, the wins are not going to be there. Najee Harris for the Steelers. Like we said, that was kind of our number one coming into this segment right here. But I think, man, the defense is good, and so is Big Ben. Well, is he going to decline? But that's when Najee Harris can step up and be that huge impact player. Weeks 11, 12. That's when we saw Big Ben kind of drop off. It was like week 11 or week 12 last season. So this season, expect for Najee Harris to really get that big workload. Obviously, he's going to have a good workload for the first 10 weeks, but once Big Ben's arm starts to kind of decline a little bit after just kind of repetitive motion, it's going to dwindle. We just saw it last year. Najee Harris can truly come in and make that pick and make that huge contribution. Quiddy Pay or Najee Harris, we're going to give it to Najee Harris. I mean, they're just primed. That's just, the defense is great, the offense is great, and this is an offensive weapon. And we know, you favor the offense just a little bit more than the defense. I mean, that's why, MVPs are always to the quarterback just because they put up those stats. So I think just stats-wise, I got to give it to Najee Harris. Travis Etienne with the Jags. Well, I don't like Urban Meyer, so I mean, I don't believe in Urban Meyer. So I mean, I can't even think that this Jags team is going to be good this year. Greg Newsome, cornerback for the Browns, definitely can make a huge impact here. The offense, we loved everything about that Browns offense. Kevin Stefanski really got it done there with Baker Mayfield, figuring out how to make him win in this league. But we're going to still give it to Najee Harris. Rashad Bateman, wide receiver for the Ravens. But once again, I mean, he's only 6 foot. If you want a deep threat wide receiver, yeah, 6 foot's fine. That's kind of the cutoff. But it's still going to be a Lamar Jackson run-first offense. Peyton Turner, defensive end for the Saints. Well, once again, that offense is a big question mark, so we can't give it to him. Eric Stokes, cornerback. Well, it's still a big question mark because we don't know what Aaron Rodgers is doing, so can't give it to him. Gregory Rousseau, defensive end for the Bills, definitely make a big impact here, but we need to see if Josh Allen's going to keep that level of success from last year to this year. Adofe Uwe, linebacker for the Ravens. Once again, it's a linebacker. Not going to give it to him. And then Joe Tyron, outside linebacker for the Bucs. I mean, he's not even going to play, folks. All starters are returning, so he's probably not going to make that much of an impact just because of that. So I'm going to give it to Najee Harris, but I truly think Quiddy Pay is a very, 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 very close second there of non-quarterbacks that are going to come in and make an impact year one. Alrighty, let's head over to some basketball stories here. The breaking news of today is Danny Ainge has stepped down as the president of basketball operations for the Boston Celtics. Kind of crazy. Wasn't Danny Ainge the one that we were all talking about of, acquiring all these draft picks and being kind of, the draft pick king? But unfortunately, it didn't really result into championships. I mean, he had a great run over these last couple of years. I think the narrative started in 2015. That's when he was really trying to get all those draft picks. And ever since then, I mean, they made it to the conference finals 3 times, they lost all the times in the conference finals. That was between, the Isaiah Thomas years and the Kyrie Irving years, trading in those draft picks to acquire these talent, and it's still good success here, but it wasn't that kind of getting to the finals. I mean, if they got to the finals, that would have been solid, but, we obviously want you to win, but, second best is getting to the finals, but never was able to get past that hump in the East, and there's really nothing that great in the East. I mean, it's always called the least. The West is always kind of, at least for the last 20 years, I would say, the West has always been a little bit better than the East. So little underperforming here with all those kind of draft picks that it was acquiring, and everybody was calling him, the smartest general manager, / basketball operations of all time. And that's just, once again, why you can't really value draft picks too much. And I know he kind of traded them to acquire these talents, but once again, a little underperforming here, never getting to the finals. Now, if you got to the finals a couple of those times where he got to the Eastern Conference Finals, maybe this is a different situation. But here we are today, and he's stepping down. And who's stepping into his place? Brad Stevens. He's moving into a front office role on a full-time role and is no longer going to be the head coach of the Celtics. And how crazy is that? We actually liked him a lot as a head coach. Just this season, he had nothing really to work with, and he did his best. I mean, he was at least a little competitive in those Nets games. He won a game at home, fantastic, and he was just competitive in game number 5. I mean, the Nets didn't really win the game until like midway fourth quarter. Yes, they were having some nice leads, but the Celtics would kind of catch up and shrink the lead into 3, 4, 5, 6 point game. So we do believe in Brad Stevens as a coach, but we get a funny quote here of what Brad Stevens' really decision came down to is from Woj here. Brad Stevens says he's been described as worn down with coaching since the bubble and welcomed the chance to make the transition to the front offense. I mean, when you've got just absolute garbage, yes, you have Jason Tatum, who's an incredible talent and is definitely going to be one of these top 20 players in the league. He's already there. Jaylen Brown is definitely solid as well. But besides that, you had that whole Kyrie Irving fiasco, and I truly do not think that Kyrie Irving is the best teammate and maybe has probably rubbed Brad Stevens the wrong way. Then they get into the bubble, and that was nothing very good last season. And then this season's probably the cherry on the top where he has no talent. I mean, the bigs were trash. I mean, the bigs were Daniel Tice, Tristan Thompson, and George Williams. Is it George? I feel like I'm messing up that name. But, those 3 bigs, that's nothing good. And then the bench, and then those draft picks of Aaron Nesmith and Peyton Pritchard never really panning out fully as much as they would like. And then he's working with, a Marcus Smart and no Kemba Walker this year. He can't stay healthy. He can't get that healthy point guard. Isaiah Thomas was always injured. Kyrie Irving's got the personality of, I don't want to say the word, of a psychopath, but I don't know. And then Kemba Walker that can't stay healthy. But yeah, so Brad Stevens going up into the front office. We'll see, if he's able to do a better job than what Danny Ainge did, and that's kind of the big news. So, now the Celtics are in the need of a head coach. They're in the need of a good big. They're in the need of a good bench. They're probably going to move off of Kemba Walker this year, and then you're just left with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Does Brad Stevens blow it all up, trade them, and start from scratch and make this kind of his own team? Well, that's yet to be determined because the news just literally broke at 10 o'clock this morning. So, big shakeup here in the NBA, and I kind of want to tie this back into it. Was this the big news that Colin Cowherd was talking about? Remember 5 days on the go, we were kind of checking Twitter ferociously through the show because he was saying big news is coming. Do I got the tweet? I think I can pull up the tweet quickly. I tweeted it just today. So this was the quote. This was the tweet from Colin Cowherd on May 27th, 5 days ago. Big news, big, all caps, big news about to drop in media. Come on, media critics, get to work. I shouldn't have this before you. Was this the big news? It kind of makes sense. This wasn't a spur-of-the-moment decision, folks, obviously. And we know that the Celtics season just ended last night because they unfortunately lost to the Nets. So kind of the timing of this, maybe the Celtics were just waiting to officially have the season wrapped up before they have this news. And this could have been the big news that Colin Cowherd was talking about. And I think it is, because this is the only big news that we've really gotten. I thought it was going to be Julio Jones news when it first broke, but that wasn't it. And here we are 5 days later, and I believe this is the big news. So I don't know if he'll say this, but I'll see what he's up to today after the show. We're on at the same time. Coincidence? I don't know. Alrighty. Yeah, so that's where we're at with the Celtics. No more Danny Ainge. Brad Stevens gets up to the general manager, or not general manager. What's the role? It's just a front office role. I'm sure he'll be the president of basketball operations. One guy steps down, the other guy goes up. I'm sure it's going to be Brad Stevens. And I think Brad Stevens got a great IQ. I respect him as a head coach. It's just unfortunately the talent that he had wasn't the greatest. You need 3 superstars to win a chip. Jason Tatum's definitely a superstar in my opinion. Jaylen Brown is definitely on the border. I would have no problem in your debate to push him up into a superstar status. I'd be fine with that. But is Kemba Walker, is he a superstar? He doesn't know how to win. He's solid on the floor, but he doesn't know what winning is, folks. So you need 3 superstars to win a ring, folks. And the Celtics never really had that. They had it with Kyrie Irving, but once again, underperforming because it's Kyrie Irving, can't be the one. Classic. We say it all the time. Alrighty. What else we got up here? Yeah, man, oh man, Damian Lillard last night. Man, oh man, he set the record for most 3-pointers made in a playoff game with 12, beating out Klay Thompson with 11, beating out himself at 10. He's number 3 now and number 1. And then this big old pool of 9 made by 12 players, and I do have that up, those players. Jamal Murray, Donovan Mitchell, Jamal Murray again. And remember, that all came from last year in the bubble, where that freaking great series between the Jazz and the Denver Nuggets. Oh my God, going back and forth, win 7 games. Jamal Murray and Donovan Mitchell were just going toe-to-toe, putting on a show every single night. So Jamal Murray has 9 3-pointers made in a playoff game twice. Steph Curry has done it twice as well. Klay Thompson has done it. He's got a 9 and an 11. Ray Allen has done it twice. Jason Terry, Vince Carter's done it. Rex Chapman has done it all 9 times. So we saw it last night on full display. Damian Lillard going absolutely usual suspect mode. Dame time, clutch. He is the clutchest player in the NBA. There is no more debate, folks. We're talking about it. We tweeted it out on in February. That's when our first initial tweet came out of saying that Damian Lillard is top 3 clutchest players in the league. And after last night, we bumped him up to number 1 clutchest player in the league right now. So absolutely got it done himself. Unfortunately, he's got some trash cans on his team that just cannot get it done, and it ended up losing him the game. But we're going to take a look at all those shots when we get to break down that game. But man, oh man, absolutely well done. He is now the number 1 in a playoff game of 3 points made at 12. He went like 12 of like 18, 12 of 17. It was something ridiculous. And we all know how great of a shooter and scorer Steph Curry is, and he's never been able to do it. And he's been playing in playoff games, folks. I mean, he went to 4 straight NBA Finals. That's plenty of games to get it done. But it's Damian Lillard. Little low Dame time. Got it done. We respect the hell out of it. Alrighty, and then the numbers are officially out of the Nets in the first round, and man, oh man, that big 3 is absolutely fantastic. James Harden, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, amazing scores of the basketball. So let's kind of break down how their big 3 scored compared to the rest of the team. So in game 1, the big 3 scored 82 points while everybody else on their team scored 22. In game 2, they scored 61. The rest of the team scored 69. Game 3, they scored 96 points. The rest of the team scored 23. Game 4, they scored 104 points. The rest of the team scored 37. And then in game 5 last night, they scored 83 combined. The rest of the team going for 40. So in the entire first round, the big 3 scored 426 points while the rest of the team scored 191. Man, oh man, that is domination. And if you want to compare that to what the big 3 did in the Warriors, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Kevin Durant, who's the common denominator? Easy money sniper, Slim Reaper, guaranteed to pull up in LeBron's face in the finals in the biggest moment and clutch the shot. But this Nets team combined for 85.2 points per game in the first round. That is the most by a trio in any playoff series in NBA history. And like we said, how Curry went to 4 straight finals, couldn't get that number 1 of 3 points made. Kevin Durant, 2 straight finals, so more opportunities, and the Nets did it their very first series together. So an absolute remarkable scoring pace, obviously. And we'll see what they can do, but they got their work cut out for them because they got the Bucks. Can they go down low? Will they finally get exposed for their weakness of their team like we saw at the end of the regular season, the Bucks beating them twice in back-to-back games? We'll see how that turns out, but they definitely had that firepower from outside, and they're at least one of them's always going to be on, folks. I mean, these are great shooters. These are consistently great shooters. These are consistently great scorers of the basketball, and we rarely ever see one player flounder, and if they do, there's really no odds that 2 or more or all 3 will flounder in the same game. So it's going to be tough to beat this Nets team. We just broke down the numbers, folks. Absolutely wild to talk about and wild to grasp, but here they are. But once again, it's against the Celtics. Not the greatest defense, not the greatest beef down low. You can score wherever you want, but now you have to run into Brook Lopez and Giannis clogging it up down low. And just that entire and that entire team is just beefy by nature. They are in Milwaukee, folks. There's nothing else to do but besides be beefy. Alrighty, next story up, and This is why we said that Kyrie Irving has a kind of psychopathic mentality. We're not judging him on his basketball performance, folks. We know this man is absolutely great. That's not what we're saying. But whenever he opens his mouth, is just like, really? So, Kyrie Irving after Game 5 win, quote, "We uniting the whole world with this championship run." Really? Really? After you just stomped on the Celtics logo and got that fan base fired up, you're trying to unite everybody? What? Like, it's just so night and day what he says and, just what he does and his actions. That's why we can never get behind Kyrie Irving. And, like we said, this has nothing to do with his basketball game. We respect the hell out of his basketball game. He is a true number 2 in this league. I'm not denying that. He's not a number 1, but he is a great number 2 in this league. But, stomping on the logo, calling all the Boston fans racist before the series even started, saying, man, oh man, I really hope they aren't racist to me. Wouldn't that be awful if they're racist to me? I mean, they're racist. They're in Boston. They're racist people out there. And now he's saying, oh, we uniting the whole world on this championship run. And there's one more sentence to this quote, so let me bring up this article. "We uniting the whole world with this championship run, so I hope everybody's with us. We uniting the whole world with this run. Stick with us, baby." I mean, that's why we don't like Kyrie Irving, folks. This is why, because he says things, he gets his fan base all riled up, and then when he ever faces the slightest of pushbacks, the slightest of adversity, it's, oh, poor me, pity me. They're racist against me. They're throwing water bottles, which we definitely don't condone. I mean, that's just wild. But, just his press conference. And it's like, if Kyrie Irving doesn't like the press as much as he says, you can do exactly what has already been proven to be done in this league. Andrew Luck didn't like what was going on in the NFL, didn't like that they were pushing him really hard to come back from the injury and all that. So he said, you know what? I made my money. I'm out. And I respect the hell out of Andrew Luck. I don't like it because we don't get to see Andrew Luck anymore play quarterback. But, he took his pride and principles, stayed true to them, and got out of the league. Kyrie Irving, I don't want to talk to the media. Why is everybody bashing me? I'm just trying to play basketball. All this and all that. But then, wants to go to the media. Oh, get behind us. I'm uniting everybody. I'm uniting the world. I'm going to also stomp on the logo. And I'm also going to call an entire fan base racist because of a couple bad apples. And once again, just making overall assumptions. And I get it. And I know I'm probably not the best person to talk about race issues. But at the end of the day, if you're going to have a negative outlook, it's going to be negative. And I know, like I said, it's bigger than that. And I truly understand as much as I can. I truly do. But at the end of the day, at some point, he's asking for all this backlash, and then once the backlash comes, it's woe is me. And then he has this quote right here. But, take the Kawhi Leonard route. If you are truly sick of the media and sick of, going to the media sessions and answering the media, do what Kawhi does. He's a superstar, and nobody ever talks about him because he doesn't make himself interesting. But once again, Kyrie Irving wants to make himself polarizing and interesting, so we talk about him. And then, like we said, the slightest pushback, the slightest kind of counter argument to whatever he has to say, it's, oh, you're racist, woe is me, I'm the greatest of all time, I don't even know why I do this, I don't even want to play anymore because the media makes it so almost impossible to play because everybody's just shitting on me the entire time. It's like, can you look in the mirror at least once, Kyrie? Folks, we barely trash any players on here. The people that we trash are Kyrie Irving, because we see this time and time again. That's really the only NBA player we trash. There's nobody else we trash. And then in the NFL, it's becoming more Aaron Rodgers because we get this whole saga of him, once again, kind of the same attitude as Kyrie Irving. And then we trash on Tim Tebow, but that's deserved because he's 9 years removed and coming to play a different position. So those are the only 3 players we ever shit on. Ever. So it's not like, you can't say, oh, you just shit on everybody. No. I love to see greatness. I want to see the highest levels. That's why I love Kyrie. That's why it's so annoying of Kyrie Irving. It's like, oh, you're so great, but damn, are you annoying? You can do what Kawhi does. Don't make yourself interesting. Just kind of give basic answers. If you start giving basic answers, the media will stop kind of talking to you. And that's kind of your get out of jail free card, not talking to the press while also talking to the press like Kyrie Irving wants to do. So, classic Kyrie Irving. That's why I just can't. I don't know, man. I don't know what everybody on that Nets team is thinking to themselves. I would love to know everybody's honest opinions on playing with Kyrie Irving. Yes, the talent is there on the floor. Nobody's ever discounting that. But man, oh man, the actions, the words he says. Some players, some bench players, some non-superstars got to be like, yo, this man's annoying. Did this man ever shut up, bro? Like, damn. So that's where we're at with Kyrie Irving. Classic. Just classic. It's classic Kyrie. It's classic Kyrie. Let's go to this last story because we're going very long here in these stories of the day. Like I said, a lot of great stories to talk about. But here we go. Last one of the day. Here we go. That's all I'm going to say about this story. What? Here we go. Derrick Rose and Julius Randle respond to Clint Capella's comments about the Knicks trash talk. Let's talk about Derrick Rose first, and then we'll get to Julius Randle. Derrick Rose, I'm 32 years old. I never talk shit in my life. I'm not going to start now that Clint Capella said something. Everybody's saying, discounting Clint Capella. Did y'all not know that he just led the league in rebounds? Like 14 a game? What are y'all talking about? Respect this man. Just because, once again, he's not a high market, a highly talked about player in the media, he's still freaking great, folks. Stop hating on Clint Capella. I don't know where all this hate started to come from, but Derrick Rose, he can say whatever he wants. He's kind of earned that right. He was an MVP. He's really he got it done this season. He's been fantastic this season. But Julius Randle wants to open his mouth. Julius Randle, that's the biggest flounder in a playoff performance I have ever seen. The man won most improved of the year, had an MVP caliber. People were having him in the MVP discussion season, and then he's floundering at every playoff game, but he wants to kind of respond to these Clint Capella comments saying, why would I give a hell what Clint Capella would have to say? What? Julius Randle, can you please look in the mirror because you are so atrocious in this playoff series. Talk about the pressure getting to you, and now you're going to shit on Clint Capella as he's beating your ass in the series? Come on. I'll give Derrick Rose the pass because he's having a good series and a good overall season. But, man, Julius Randle, what a freaking egg you just laid here. You're down 3-1 going back to Madison Square Garden. You better gosh darn hope you play well tonight at home, baby, because why would I give a hell what Julius Randle would have to say is the real quote here. Trashing on Clint Capella. I don't know where all this trash is coming from. The man is solid. He's a great scorer. He's a great rebounder. He's a good, solid big. He's a winnable big in this league. Julius Randle can't even win a playoff game at home with a rocking and roaring crowd that hasn't, been to a playoff game in years. And Julius Randle's got something to say? The biggest flounder in the playoffs? The biggest flounder. At least this season. Nobody's floundered as bad as Julius Randle in the playoffs this year. So the fact that this man would have the audacity to say, why would I give a hell what Clint Capella would have to say? Why we care whatever you say? Get it done. Clint Capella's whooping that ass in the series. You're a flounder. You're shooting like 20% on 20 shots. Trash. But we give Derrick Rose the free pass. I've got no beef with the Derrick Rose, all right? All right, those are all the stories we needed to break down for today. So let's go into the NBA from last night, break down those games, and get into what's going on tonight and get that moneymaker rocking because we hit 3-4-3 last night, baby. Nets minus 12.5. They win by 14. Nuggets minus 2. Man, oh man, that was close. But hey, squeaked out to win. We'll take it. And then Suns, Lakers. You knew we were taking the Suns minus 5, and everybody was saying, oh, the Lakers are going to be good and going to be... No! It's folks, it's LeBron and AD. If one of those two players are not out there, it's a trash team. What did we just see? They lost by 30 last night. So we took the Suns minus 5, and that's an easy peasy, lemon squeezy, hitter, chicken dinner. All right, so let's start with the Nets and the Celtics first. All right, Nets. I'll give credit to the Celtics team. They were actually pretty competitive in this game without, once again, Kemba Walker and George Williams. Why am I blanking on that name? I know it's Williams, and it's not Grant Williams. I think it's George. I apologize if I'm butchering the name of the Celtics big. But, I mean, they were real competitive. They were, the Nets would open up like a 9, 10, 11 point, lead, and then the Celtics would bring it back to, 6, 5, and it gets back opened up, and then they bring it back. I mean, it was yo-yoing the entire game, and I definitely give the Celtics respect because, I mean, without all those kind of key players, at least Kemba out there, they were still competitive. So I give the Celtics team a lot of credit. Only losing by 14 points. That's real solid, folks. That's pretty solid against this Nets team. So I give credit to the Celtics, but let's start here with the Nets since they got the win. Kevin Durant, 24 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 of 6 from the 3, 50%, always freaking efficient. Joe Harris, 10 points, 6 assists, 3 rebounds, 2 of 5 from the 3, still trying to get his in this kind of crowded offense, so we still respect it. Blake Griffin, man, oh man, this man's going to get exposed. He's going to get exposed against this Bucs series. But last night, 6 points, 4 rebounds, only playing 18 minutes, and I love that Nicholas Claxton got 12 minutes off the bench. We'll get to him in a second. Kyrie Irving, 25 points, 3 assists, 3 rebounds, 3 of 7 from the 3. And then James Harden, 34 points and 10 mother-loving assists. And yes, folks, James Harden is the only person that is clearly making this team work. If it was just Kyrie and Kevin Durant, they would not be as good as they are. There's no leadership there. James Harden gets 34 points, gets 10 assists, can facilitate the floor. He would have been MVP if he didn't freaking get injured, man. James Harden is the key to this team, and I don't care what anybody else says. But he played absolutely fantastic last night. Triple-double, 34 points, 10 assists, 10 rebounds, 4 of 7 from 3, 58% from the field, looking absolutely stunning last night. And then off the bench, Bruce Brown, 10 points, 4 steals, 3 assists, 5 rebounds, very well done. Nicholas Claxton, 6 points, 4 rebounds. He was a -4 on the floor, not the greatest, but his offensive production is there. And if he's getting more minutes out there on the floor, he can learn the defense out on the floor. They're giving Blake Griffin all this time for some reason. This was a time to really kind of coach up Nicholas Claxton because Blake Griffin's going to get absolutely butchered down low against Brook Lopez and Giannis. Now, Nicholas Claxton may also do that as well, but he's able to score the ball offensively to try to make up for some of that bad defense. And you would have given him playoff experience more time. So I really think it was a little bit of a beef here, a little bit of a blunder because the Nets really weren't looking ahead. I mean, you just got beat against the Bucs. It's not like you beat the Bucs twice. I mean, we just saw them play at the end of the season, folks, the end of the regular season twice, and the Bucs won both times. Yes, James Harden wasn't there, but once again, it's not the offense that has the problem. It's the defense, and Blake Griffin's not going to be that good defender. Nicholas Claxton, 6'11", that tall, nice defensive piece down low to clog the paint, could be the player because it's not DeAndre Jordan. They're not even playing DeAndre Jordan. Maybe they're resting him for the Bucs series, but once again, I can't rely on him. I truly can't rely on him that much. And Blake Griffin, same thing there. I mean, these are old, washed-up centers out of their prime. And Blake Griffin was never even a 5. Even with those Clippers, wasn't he the 4? Now he's playing the 5 here, and we think he's going to have success. So I cannot get behind Blake Griffin in this next series. If DeAndre Jordan plays, he's not an offensive weapon out there. Absolutely not. Neither is really Blake Griffin. That's why I really wanted to see Nicholas Claxton maybe get a little bit more time out here, more opportunity in the Celtics series because, I mean, this was going to be a win. It went 5 games, but, I mean, it could have went 7, and it would have been even non-competitive at that point. So I think they kind of beefed it up a little bit. Steve Nash and freaking Mike D'Antoni, classic. I mean, I don't know, the Goof Troop. I mean, we got the Goof Troop in the NFL with Mike McCarthy, Dan Quinn, and Ben McAdoo, and we got the NBA Goof Troop of freaking Mike D'Antoni and Steve Nash. What the hell is this coaching? Like, what are we doing here? We'll see. I mean, time will tell, obviously, but I really would love to see Nicholas Claxton out there for like 30 minutes. Entire game starting, but only 12 minutes. I think they're doing themselves a disservice. Alrighty, now let's talk about the Celtics now. Evan Fournier, 18 points, 6 rebounds. He shot 1 of 5 from 3. Once again, not really stepping it up. He had 18 points, which I can kind of get behind, but we need the offense with no Kemba, no Jaylen Brown. Please, somebody be that other 25-plus scorer that we need, and Evan Fournier not shooting the best. Jason Tatum, 32 points, 9 rebounds, 4 of 11 from 3, trying his damnedest. Tristan Thompson at the 5, 9 points, 9 rebounds. Romeo Langford in the 2 here, 17 points on 3 of 7 from 3, 58% from the field. He had a pretty solid game. And then Marcus Smart back at the 1, 14 points, but 1 of 10 from 3. Jeez Louise. And we know he can make it, but man, oh man, 10% from 3, 29% from the field. Jeez. And then the bench, absolutely trash. Aaron Nesmith, 0 points on 2 shots. Grant Williams, 3 points. Peyton Pritchard, 3 points on 2 shots, just not getting that offensive production needed. And then Jabari Parker, probably had the best game of the series, honestly, 13 points, 3 rebounds in 13 minutes, and he was a +5 on the floor, so he was truly getting it done. But, why would you play Jabari Parker more than 13 minutes if he's having a good game? Like, what is that? It's like these coaches, I understand having lineups and all that, but, like, clearly nothing worked in those first 2 games. Yeah, you won game 3, back to losing game 4, nothing to lose, down 3-1, and Jabari Parker's having a fantastic game and you only play him 13 minutes? You'd rather play Evan Fournier, who's done nothing for you this entire year? You'd rather have, Marcus Smart brick the threes out there for 38 minutes? It's just like, at some point, take a leap of faith. You've got nothing to lose. You kind of went out with a big old whimper when you could have started Jabari Parker or played him for 40 minutes because he was having a good game every time he was out on the floor, but you only play him 13 minutes. It's like y'all are just wanting to lose. I don't get it. So that was the Celtics Nets last night. Didn't really like what we saw, but, it's the Nets, and they'll shoot their way to a win. Alrighty, the most entertaining game of the night was on NBA TV. The blowout of the Nets and the Celtics, that's on primetime TV. Everybody wants to see the freaking Celtics get absolutely blown out. The Suns and Lakers with no AD. Everybody wants to see the Lakers get blown out. But the most competitive game, one of the greatest games, this is a classic. This game will be talked about forever. This is a legacy game. This will last the test of time. This Nuggets Blazers, round 1, game 5, and that's on NBA TV. No primetime slot. The most competitive, most entertaining, double overtime, Dame mother-loving dollar bill, y'all. Dame time is here. Clutch, 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 clutch. Was that 12? Because that's how many threes he hit. So, I'm glad that was on NBA TV. Small markets don't make money because you don't talk about it. It's not about the market. It's about the media. That's why we do it here, baby. Every team, every player, we talk about it. So, let's talk about this one. Let's start with the Nuggets since they got the win. And, well, you know what? We're going to start with the Dame time, y'all. So, let's talk about, we got all the threes pulled up here. Here we go. First clutch three, and I have to preface it by first because there's a lot of them. So, down 3, 8 seconds left. Didn't you know what Damian Lillard does against Michael Porter Jr.? The length of him shooting over 7 foot Michael Porter Jr. for the freaking cash 3 to tie up the game to go into overtime? Man! Now, this was kind of set up by a very, very trash call that was fouled on Austin Rivers that, Damian Lillard missed. But, hey, given the circumstances, given a second shot, he made it, and then he shot it over 7 foot Michael Porter Jr. So, that's clutch Dame time number 1. Clutch Dame time number 2. Down 8 in overtime with a minute left, and they forced double overtime. Just think about that. Down 8 with a minute left. What a freaking collapse by the Nuggets, and what a clutch job by Damian Lillard, and we got them all here. So, down 8, a minute and 8 seconds left. Damian Lillard over Jokic this time. Step back. Gets the ball, resets, deep, like 5 feet behind the 3-point line, deep, to cut the lead down to 5. Lead is down to 5, 28 seconds left, down by 5. Damian Lillard on Austin Rivers again, step back, bingo, bango, clutch, 2-point game. 3-point game because who was it? Monte Morris that missed the free throw. Once again, leaving the door open for Damian Lillard. Down 3, 13 seconds left. Could he do it again? Does he have it in him? You better believe he does, baby. This time, step back, cash 3, tie game with 6 seconds left. Then they lock it up on defense, goes into double overtime. Now, in double overtime, down 1, 3 minutes, 54 seconds left. Can he do it again? You're gosh darn right he can. Deep, 7 feet past the free throw line. Scores up 2. Dame time is up 2 in double overtime. But what happens when Dame doesn't touch the ball? We're tied at 140, tie game, 2 minutes 30 seconds left in double overtime. Who takes the ball? Who takes the shot? CJ McCollum, scoop layup, bounces off the back of the rim, unclutch there. And then who's taking the next shot? Down 3, 48 seconds left. Damian Lillard makes an absolutely great pass here to Robert Covington, who misses a wide open clean dunk. Dunk, you missed a dunk that would have cut the lead down to 1 with 40 seconds left. Setting up Dame time to be the hero. And we got absolutely garbage. Missed scoop layup, missed wide open dunk off of a great pass by, once again, Damian Lillard clutching it up. So truly an unfortunate loss here by Damian Lillard. Disgusted. I would be disgusted. I would be, get me off this team. I would be like, I'm not even playing game 6 because what's the point? But that's not how Damian handles himself. All class, all clutch. Y'all know. But here we go. Denver Nuggets. Let's start with them since they got the win. Facundo Campazzo, 3 points, 2 assists, 2 rebounds. Only played 21 minutes. Monte Morris playing a lot of minutes out here. And, that's what this is good. I know Jamal Murray, but Facundo Campazzo is still serviceable. And then you got Monte Morris off the bench, who's definitely serviceable. We're going to talk about him in a second. But this is still why we are big on this Nuggets team. I think we chose them to get to the finals, I believe. I'll have to double check that. I believe we did do that though. But this Nuggets team, we are still buying it. We've got the main scorers of Jokic and Michael Porter Jr. and then the kind of facilitators of Monte Morris and Facundo Campazzo that can both get it done. So Facundo Campazzo had a little bit of a light game, still +5 in 20 minutes on the floor. So once again, we still believe in Facundo Campazzo, the rookie. Love it. Austin Rivers, 18 points, 7 assists, 4 of 8 from the 3. Some solid play there. Unfortunately, the foul on Damian Lillard, getting shot over Damian Lillard multiple times in this game. Not the greatest look, but still kind of got it done offensively. We'll take 18 points all day by Austin Rivers. That's what we're talking about. Jokic, 38 points, 11 rebounds, 9 assists. Aaron Gordon, 14 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists. He shot, 54% from the field, 2 of 4 from 3. Solid Aaron Gordon play out here. And then Michael Porter Jr., 26 points, 12 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals. He's a +11 on the floor. Man, oh man, fantastic. That length. That's why we were so surprised when Damian Lillard shot over them. That's the shot. If we're going to take any one shot, I'm taking the one over Michael Porter Jr. in regulation to force overtime. What a shot. Folks, he's 7 foot. They got him officially listed at 7 foot. Let me see. 6'10". I'm saying 7 foot. I think it's a little underestimated there, but absolutely fantastic there by Michael Porter Jr. He shot 76%, 3 of 5 from the 3. He's always so freaking reliable, folks. He's a knockoff Kevin Durant. Yeah. It's fantastic what Michael Porter Jr. is doing. Little going under the radar. People got to start respecting him a little bit more. And then off the bench, like we said, Monte Morris, 28 points. He shot 38%, not the greatest. 4 of 9 from 3. We'll take that all day. Clutch in overtime as well. 28 points, except at the free throw line, not the best. But 28 points, 5 assists, 3 rebounds. He's a +7 on the floor. So this is absolutely great. Silver lining, green flag here on this Nuggets team that Monte Morris has this ability in him to do this. And we'll see if he gets into the starting lineup at all, if they still rock with Facundo Campazzo or not. But either way, I can trust both of their guards here, even without Jamal Murray. All right. So great night by the Nuggets last night. Even good night by the Blazers. It's just unfortunate. Damian Lillard, 55 freaking points, 10 assists, 6 rebounds, 12 of 17 from 3. The man shot 70% on 3 on 17 shots. What a freaking baller. He only took 24 shots overall for those 55 points. Respect as respect on respect as it can be. CJ McCollum, little on clutch out there, 18 points, 7 assists, 7 rebounds, 2 of 8 from 3. Nurkic down low, 13 points, 11 rebounds. Robert Covington, once again, not clutch, 19 points, 11 rebounds. It's just like, these are all solid performances here. It's just truly unfortunate that the Nuggets were just kind of keeping pace offensively. And then Norman Powell, 13 points, 3 assists, 0 of 3 from the 3, and 35% overall. So just unfortunate there. And then once again, the bench doesn't do anything. Carmelo Anthony, 8 points on 27% shooting. Anthony Simons, 6 points on 28% shooting. Once again, the bench is the worst thing about this Blazers team. That's why Damian Lillard has to go for 55 and hit 12 threes, clutch after clutch after clutch, because nobody else can get it done here. So truly a heartbreaking game for this Blazers team. They go down 3-2 back to Portland in game number 6. We'll see how they rebound off of this, but this is a soul-crushing, heart-destroying loss, and we'll see how they improve. Alrighty, and then the last game of the night, nothing really to talk about here. Just, the Lakers flounder, classic. Nobody can score the ball, and that's it. So let's start here with the Suns since they got the win. Chris Paul, 9 points, 6 assists, 4 rebounds. He only played 22 minutes. What a gift from him. He could still be out there, but also rest that shoulder at the same time by blowing out the Lakers. A perfect scenario out there for Chris Paul last night. Devin Booker, 30 points. Love seeing that finally, that 30-point performance. That's what we need by Devin Booker, baby. And he was all out on display last night. 30 points, 5 assists, 7 rebounds, 2 of 6 from the 3, 56% on 23 shots. We'll take that. DeAndre Ayton, 8 points, 7 rebounds. Jay Crowder, 9 points, 2 rebounds, a plus 23 on the floor as well. Love the defense, 3 of 9 from 3. Abel starting to kind of get warmed up from the 3 a little bit more. Love seeing that. Definitely going to need that in the second round. And then Mikal Bridges, 13 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks, getting it done defensively as well. He shot 3 of 7 from the 3. And then off the bench, Cameron Payne. Man, oh man, this is what we've been saying, folks. Like, we didn't really want to see Chris Paul in game 3 to rest that shoulder, and then we would have had great faith in Cameron Payne to get it done. He's been great off this bench this entire series. 16 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 63% on 11 shots. That's what we're talking about. And then Cameron Johnson also got into the mix a little bit. 11 points, 3 rebounds on 50% shooting on 4 shots. Not bad. So the bench here starting to get a little solid here by the Suns. Would love to see, Torrey Craig get involved a little bit more. 2.7 rebounds, but on 14% shooting. 4 from the 3, 1 of 7 from the field. But it's great that we're getting great, consistent play by Cameron Payne, starting to get there with Cameron Johnson, and that's what the Suns are going to need if they go deep in this playoff run. They need that bench to get it done. And so far, it's starting to get better every single game. So some silver linings, green flags here by the Suns. And then the Lakers, LeBron, 24 points, 7 assists, 5 rebounds, 6 of 10 from 3. Great. Just unfortunately, nobody else able to score the ball. So the highest scorer of the ball last night was LeBron James. And then the second highest was Kyle Kuzma off the bench. Thanks at least a little bit by Kyle Kuzma finally stepping it up when he needs to. Unfortunately, it's overall a loss. And then the third leading scorer was Talen Horton-Tucker, once again off the bench, 11 points. And it's so comical, folks. They had 2 players in the starting lineup with 0 points, folks. Dennis Schroeder playing 25 minutes, 0 points on 9 shots. Jeez Louise. And then KCP, 0 points. He only took 1 shot in 15 minutes, but we cannot, there's no offense on this Lakers team, folks. That's why we need Anthony Davis. And whenever Anthony Davis or LeBron is out, we are instantly out on betting or rooting for this team. So LeBron did his thing. I don't mind that he left. He ended up leaving the floor with like 6-7 minutes left in the fourth. I don't mind that. It's like y'all didn't show up to play. I did. So why am I going to stand here on the bench? I'm going to go warm up for game number 6 because I know y'all are not. So what are we doing? So LeBron did his thing. Markieff Morris, who got in the starting lineup, put up 4 points, but the first shot was 3 of it. The very first shot of the game was Markieff Morris from 3. So 3 of his 4 points came in the first 30 seconds of the game. Flounder. He only played 10 minutes overall as well. Andre Drummond, 7 points, 13 rebounds. You couldn't go down low with him with no Anthony Davis? What are we doing? What's the offense we're running? KCP, like we said, 0 points. Dennis Schroeder, 0 points. Marcus All, 5 points. 3 rebounds. He only played 10 minutes. Alex Caruso, 5 points on 8 shots. Kyle Kuzma finally had a decent game, 15 points, but 1 of 5 from 3. Could have been a little bit better there. What else do we get? Talen Horton-Tucker, 11 points, 11 rebounds. He played very well, but once again, 2 players had good games. Is that going to win? No, of course not. So, Lakers, I don't know what everybody was thinking, taking them, plus the 5, winning, being competitive. We didn't do that. We weren't doing none of that. All right, so that was all the NBA from last night. We're going a little late here, so let's kind of speed this up on our moneymaker. Here we go. Let's get the lines up to date. Let's get the ins and out. Like we said, 4 games on tonight. So we were wrong. We didn't think we were going to have another 4-game day. 76ers Wizards on NBA TV. We'll see what's going on with Joel Embiid. Hawks Knicks TNT 7:30. That's going to be an absolute great one. Grizzlies Jazz, 9:30 on NBA TV again. Once again, I mean, Grizzlies down 3-1. Unfortunate. Probably going to get closed out tonight because, the refs will get Dylan Brooks in foul trouble like they've been doing all season, all series. And then Mavericks Clippers, 10 o'clock, TNT, 2-2. Who takes game number 5 here? This one's going to be a great game. Can the Mavericks get back on track? It's going to be tough. So let's get these lines up to date. Let's refresh these lines and hit another freaking flawless day. Let's go 4 for 4 today, folks. Let's get it done. So here we go. First game up, Wizards, 76ers. Wizards plus 6.5. 76ers minus 6.5. Davis Bertans is out. I mean, that's a huge offense right there. Out. That's not great. And then for the 76ers, George Hill, a game-time decision. Seth Curry, a game-time decision. And Joel Embiid is out, folks. This is not great. So this one's going to be tough, man. If, they've got no bigs down low, Seth Curry being a game-time decision, Ben Simmons can't score the ball, so it's like, where's the offense going to come from? We can rely on Tobias Harris, but Danny Green, he's never stepped up at all this season when he needed to. When everybody's in the starting lineup, Danny Green can play solid, but when they're missing 1, 2, 3 of their offensive pieces, he goes ghost mode as well. So I'm going to give it to the Wizards here to be competitive. No Joel Embiid. Start Daniel Gafford for the Wizards, right? That's right. Yeah, Daniel Gafford. He's their best big. I expect them to do exactly what they did in game number 5 and game number 6 here. Is this no, this is game number 5. What they did in game number 4 to get the win. So we're going to take the points here with the Wizards. No Joel Embiid. This 76ers team isn't that scary. Now, no Davis Bertans is big for the Wizards. That's a huge offensive piece, but they can just kind of decently make up that offense down low with Daniel Gafford. So I'm going to take the 6.5 here with the Wizards. Hawks, Knicks. Hawks +1, Knicks -1, and I'm taking the Hawks, I believe. Let's see if everybody's going to go. Cam Reddish is still out, unfortunately, for the Hawks, and then Mitchell Robinson is still out for the Knicks. So basically the usual suspects in for both of these teams. But I'm taking the Hawks here, folks. Julius Randle has not shown us anything in these first 5 games. Nothing's going to be, or these first 4 games. Nothing's going to be different here in game number 5. They're back at home. Okay. Julius Randle is something that needs to be on his A game at all times, or they lose. They're down 3-1, folks. They're down 3-1. It's unfortunate, but the Hawks close out tonight. Knicks, they had a great regular season. They got to the playoffs. We'll give them that. But Julius Randle, he's not sustainable. He's not consistent here in the playoffs, so we can't get behind it. Hawks +1. This Knicks team is like the Lakers, without AD, without one of their good pieces, Julius Randle, they will lose all their games and kind of not competitive. We just saw them kind of get blown out in the second half of game number 4. All right, the Grizzlies and the Jazz, and I'm gonna go down with the ship, folks. I'm going down with the ships. And why? Every time we look at the ins and outs here on Score Mobile, they don't bring it up for Grizzlies and Jazz. So I'm gonna assume they're all good here, all good to go. Let's go to NBA Fantasy Lab, see what we get. Oh, my God. No. Joel Embiid is diagnosed with a meniscus tear? Oh. Is that big time? That's got to be big time, right? What are these comments saying? Damn, he's done Damn, he's done. Oof. Always the knees with the big guys. Damn, a meniscus tear? I think that's out for the season, no? Ugh, that's killer. That's killer. Also glad now that we took the Bucks in 7 over the 76ers in the Eastern Conference Finals. But I didn't want to win like that. I didn't want to be right like that. Man. That's absolutely killer. Wow. That's a lot of motivation for this Wizards team, so I'm definitely loving the Wizards +6.5 tonight. But I'm assuming everybody's going to go for this Jazz-Grizzlies game. And I'm going to take the Grizzlies +9.5. The defense, man, the defense. If they can get out to a hot offensive start, their defense has just been playing from behind the entire game, finally getting even in the fourth quarter. And then, like we've been saying, they're all like, what do we do now? What do we do now? We're so used to playing from behind, we don't know how to get the lead. We don't know how to maintain the lead in this game because this entire series, the refs have kind of been ticky-tacky calling us backing us into a corner. So I'm going to take the Grizzlies +9.5. I really hope they extend the series one more game, get it back to Memphis for one more game, try to force that Game 7 and see what happens then. But I love the matchup here for this Grizzlies. I think they match up so well. This Jazz just have a little bit more better outside shooters, and they're a little bit deeper in that department. So if the Grizzlies can get on fire, catch fire from shooting anywhere. Just give us some points. I'm going to take the 9.5. They're competitive. And then the last game of the night. Wow. Mavericks, Clippers. Mavericks plus 7.5. Clippers minus 7.5. And this was kind of what the spread was. Games 1 and 2 when the Mavericks were beating the Clippers on the road. So this is real interesting here. But let's see who's all in and out. JJ Redick is still out. I mean, man, oh man, how unreliable. Hopefully he retires. Just not being reliable. I mean, they only bring him in. They only brought him in at the trade deadline to get it done in the playoffs. He hasn't even played a single game. Now their backs against the wall. Just lost 2 straight at home. Maxi Kleber's a game time decision, and Luka Doncic is a game time decision with that neck strain. We saw him kind of all padded up last game. And then Serge Ibaka is a game-time decision. But we're going to go the Clippers here. The Mavericks lost so much kind of confidence and momentums in Game 3 and 4. Luka Doncic being a little injured, not at his 100%. I mean, that's the only reason why we like this Mavericks team, because Luka Doncic can go beast mode and kind of go on his Curry-esque and just score the ball relentlessly from deep or whenever he needed to. But this Clippers team, the defense has finally found out how to beat them. Now, this home kind of series that they've been losing. I mean, both home teams have lost every single game. It's like wild. It doesn't make sense. But Clippers maybe have found the formula. They have all the momentum, and we're going to take this Clippers team. We're going to swallow the 7.5 here. The Mavericks, if they get down big, get down bad, like they've been doing, they're not coming back. They can't shoot themselves out of it. The Clippers defense locks up. So that's what we're going to take for our moneymaker tonight. Wizards plus 6.5, Hawks plus 1, Grizzlies plus 9.5, and the Clippers minus 7.5. All right, that's going to do it for us today. Let's quickly see if Julio Jones news broke. Falcons coach Arthur Smith says, quote, "We'll see if Julio Jones attends minicamp next week." That's really interesting. So they're kind of expecting him to potentially be there. Maybe the trade not going to happen? How crazy would that be if the Falcons don't trade him? But yeah, there's no other news. So we'll leave it at that. We're back tomorrow. We'll see what happens with Julio Jones. But yeah, we're back tomorrow, folks. Live noon Eastern. Like always, we'll see.